random basketball, and as you know, in the playoffs, it can get ugly.
Bam, you said a few times that this has been the roughest season of your career. What now that it ended tonight? How would you kind of sum up what this season's been like for you and just the team?
I mean, a lot of ups and downs. You know, but we fought at the end of the day. So, I mean, you're talking about a 10th seed that made the playoffs. You know, that's one more victory we can leave with, but you know, this has got to fuel a lot of us going into the off season. You got a lot of time to understand what happened today. Look at and remember how this felt. And then you come back next year and see what happens.
Yeah, you spoke a lot about the experiences throughout the season, like the 10-game skid, and how that could build some sort of character. Can you just kind of talk about maybe that being the one bright side from this all? Is that, again, going into next season is going to fuel you guys?
Yeah, definitely going to fuel us from that standpoint. Like I said, we could have let go of this rope a long time ago. We could have quit during the 10-game winning streak and just been like, just cough up the season. The organization, the coaches, players. But we were obsessed with trying to dig ourselves out of the hole, and to push yourself to a point where you give yourself a chance. You know, that's all you can ask for. You know, from my point of view, with the younger guys watching, them understanding that you never know what can happen in this league. You put a little faith and obsession into it.
Bam, 2 straight years of losing in the first round, and obviously you guys hold yourselves to a higher standard than that. What do you think needs to change?
What needs to change? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of changes this summer. Just from my point of view, understanding how, the guy with the silver hair works. So just be prepared for that. And, for me, man, it's understanding got to figure out how to win a game in the playoffs. You understand how hard it is when you actually get into these trenches. So you take that and you figure it out.
Bam, obviously they take the captaincy around here very seriously. And, you have that title for a reason, but at the same time, you've probably learned along the way that there's certain things you can control and certain things you can't. How frustrating is it when you want certain things and just can't will them into existence, even with that captaincy?
Like you said, man, it comes with the territory sometimes. Understanding that you can only control what you can control. For me, it's controlling the locker room, and that's trying to get guys ready for basketball games, which obviously I didn't do well at, especially this last game. So, going into the summer, I got a lot to think about, and how I can bounce back from this.
When Spo was just up there, he was talking about the plane ride you guys had after the play-in and just like how much fun that plane ride was. What do you remember from that moment? And I guess how do you cherish like some of those smaller victories you had this year in light of everything?
I mean, we've been through a lot this year. So for me, man, it's just you got to enjoy the small moments. We play basketball 9 to 10 months out the year. And you got to enjoy those small moments because you'll never know when you get those back. You never know who's going to be in the locker room next year. So being able to enjoy those moments, in real time, it definitely makes it bigger than basketball.
Thank you, man.
Tyler, obviously with the 55-point loss, these back-to-back losses, was this something that even scratched your mind that could happen? Obviously, Spo talked about how he didn't even see this coming.
Yeah, it was obviously, leaving Cleveland. We came back to Miami. We definitely didn't expect this. last two games for us, both, 40-point, 50-point losses, really no excuses for it. It's embarrassing, and definitely humbling. A lot of work to be put in, and have a good opportunity to come back, obviously, next season and try to figure this out.
Tyler, for all the changes you made in your game after the Boston experience last year, and there were successes with those changes at times in this series, but overall, with how Cleveland defended you, what are the lessons now you take out of this series?
I just got to watch the film and see what I can do to get better. Obviously, the last two games, it's very tough on me to play like that as the leader of the team. That's obviously not acceptable, and it's got to be better.
Tyler, you guys have obviously been through a lot this season, just from the start of it. How would you kind of sum up what the season's been like for you guys?
It's a lot of it's a roller coaster, ups and downs. At different points, we thought we were finding a little traction, and then a couple great games, and then it'd go back downhill. So there's no real consistency in our play. And that was kind of the last 2 or 3 weeks. We played really well in those two playing games to get us to this point, and that's kind of what led us to think that obviously we didn't think we would have got swept. How bad we got swept, and it was very humbling. But we'll back to the drawing board, and we figure out things to do.
Tyler, what goes through your mind when it's whatever the lead's 29 in the first quarter and 39, whatever it was at halftime, and 60 in the fourth? Like, these aren't numbers you'd ever think of happening in an NBA game. What were you thinking seeing those numbers on the board?
Well, our season is on the line, obviously, with the game tonight. So when you go down that quick, obviously a little bit of doubt starts to creep in. But like I said, none of us expected this. Especially leaving Cleveland after Game 2, it felt like, the first half and Game 2 didn't go as how we wanted it, but we fought back. We were down 20 at half, fought back, made it a possession game at the end. I still lost the game, but coming back to Miami, we felt like we had something there, and obviously it didn't work out in our favor.